Hello everyone, it's Tammy from yoyomax12 and today I'm going to show you how to make these little green tea macarons or French macaroons or macarons, depending what you want to call them. They are little meringue almond cookies and these ones happen to have a dark chocolate ganache filling. They are delicious. This is a very special video collaboration along with my friend Beth who lives in Hawaii, and her channel name is Cooking and Crafting. She's one of the very first people I ever subscribed to on YouTube, and she is one of the main people that encouraged me to start making videos in the first place. So I'm very grateful to her for that. And she's making champagne macaron on her channel. So please go and check her out. Her channel information will be in the description box below this video, and a link to her champagne macaron will be at the end of this video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.
Let's see what's cooking. Let's get the facts. Let's see what's cooking. It's time for yoyomax12.
First thing you'll do is start off by mixing up your dry ingredients. You will need 1/2 cup of ground almonds, and I suggest you sift these before measuring because sometimes these packages will have larger pieces of almond still left in there. So once it's sifted, you can measure it into a 1/2 cup measuring cup and then put it into a bowl. Then you will need 1 cup of powdered sugar, also known as icing sugar or confectioner sugar, and I also sifted that powdered sugar and then stirred both things together. Now we need to add 4 teaspoons of green tea powder, also known as matcha powder, and carefully stir all that in to make sure that it is evenly combined. Then in a large mixing bowl, place 2 egg whites that have been brought to room temperature. Then begin to beat these on medium until they become frothy. And what that means is they'll have lots of bubbles with no more liquid left on the bottom. And when you get to that point, begin to add in 5 tablespoons of white granulated sugar, a little bit at a time, and continue to beat. You can increase the speed to high and beat the egg whites until they are thick and glossy and they make stiff peaks. As you can see here, when you pull up the beaters from the egg whites, you get these pretty little stiff peaks in the bowl. Now you're going to add the dry ingredients to your beaten egg whites, and in this particular try I did it in 2 additions. This is the most important part of the recipe. This will make or break your macaron right here. This mixing or folding in the dry ingredients has to be done a certain way, and if you over mix your batter at this point, your macaron will not turn out. You have to know exactly when to stop mixing. Overmix and they won't turn out, and undermix and they won't turn out. So basically you're looking for a texture that looks like lava. Now this is actually overmixed just a little bit, and I'll show you the results later on in the video. So basically once you've mixed it up properly, put it in a piping bag, and I pipe these onto a cookie sheet that's covered with a silicone mat, but you can also use parchment paper. And I pipe these out into little circles and try to make the circles uniform. You can also use a piece of parchment paper with the little circles drawn on if you like, if you want them to be exactly the same size. So once they're all piped out onto the cookie sheet, you'll notice that there might be little peaks in the batter that was left over from piping. What you do is take your cookie sheet and you're going to bang it on a countertop at least 4 or 5 times quite firmly, and what that'll do is it'll flatten them out and make them nice and smooth on the top. Then you're going to let them rest until when you touch them with your fingertip, they will feel a little bit dry to the touch and none of that batter should come off onto your fingers. This forms like a little shield on the top of your macaron. Then you're going to put them in the oven and bake them at 300 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 minutes or so until they are set and that top shield doesn't wiggle around when you touch the cookie. Then you're going to let them cool completely. Now here is my first attempt, and these are a fail for a couple of reasons. First of all, you can see the little foot, instead of being straight up and down, they kind of spread out into the cookie sheet. So it kind of looks like a little like a hamburger, and these are much too flat. And when I broke the cookie open, you will see that they are very, very hollow inside. So basically there's just a very large airspace in there, and these are considered a fail. Now, this is what happens when you overbeat your batter. So for my second attempt, I added in all of those dry ingredients all at once. And there are some recipes that tell you to do this, to add it in all at once. So that's what I did. And I folded the egg white mixture until I ended up with something that looked like this. And this actually flows a little bit more like lava. It's a little bit thicker. You can see how it flows off in ribbon, like a thick ribbon off of the spatula. And then I put it in a piping bag, and then I piped it on to the cookie sheet. And you'll even notice if you compare the two that even the color is different. The color is a lot lighter. So same thing, I piped it on to a cookie sheet. I made these actually a little bit smaller because I prefer the macaron to be little tiny ones instead of very large ones, but you can make them whatever size you want. Again, it'll be the same process. You pipe it and then bang it several times on the counter. And as you see here, when I pick up the cookie sheet and wrap it onto the countertop, the cookies will flatten out, and those little peaks that are on the tops of the cookies will disappear or almost disappear. And these are a lot puffier. They're a lot taller than my first attempt. And here is one of the cookies that I made on the second batch. Now these were still a little bit hollow inside, but as you can see, not quite nearly as hollow, that the inside was filled up with more of that meringue mixture. And now for the filling for the macaron. That is 1/2 cup of whipping cream that I put in the microwave for about a minute until it was hot to the touch. But you can most certainly do that over the stove on low heat. And then I'm adding in 4 ounces of dark chocolate to the hot cream, breaking it up into small pieces. Then just make sure the chocolate's covered by the hot cream and just let it sit for a couple of minutes. And this is the chocolate that I used. It is a 70% cocoa chocolate, nice and dark and delicious. Then you just stir it up until you get a nice, smooth, glossy mixture. Oh, and I also added in a tablespoon of butter. I just forgot to show that on video. And there is the completed filling. Just let this come to room temperature before you use it. I put that ganache into a piping bag and then just piped on a small amount on the bottom of one cookie and then pressed a second cookie on top. And that is the completed macaron. These look really pretty when they're done. That color green is just so nice. The green tea flavor comes through very well in these, and I really enjoyed them. They are delicious. I was happy with the appearance of these. They look exactly like they should look. The only difference is they were a tiny bit hollow inside. And if you check out the description box below, I'm going to put more information about what I think I could have done to make these better. And I also put a link in there to a previous macaron video that I've made before using Earl Grey tea. And I go into great detail about the actual mixing of the dry ingredients into the egg whites. And if you want some more details, please go check that out. And don't forget to click right on your screen or see the link in the description box to see Beth, who is cooking and crafting, and watch her champagne macaron video.